Before you buy another bottle of magnesium glycinate, I want you to pause for just a moment because what I'm about to share may save you money, lower your frustration, and change the way you think about magnesium after age 55. If you have been dealing with muscle tightness, restless sleep, low energy, constipation, eye twitches, anxious tension, or that vague feeling that your body is not recovering the way it used to, you are not imagining it. Many adults in their late 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond are quietly running low on magnesium, one of the most important minerals in the human body. And when magnesium runs low, the body often whispers before it ever screams. Now here is the surprising part. For many older adults, the real problem is not just low magnesium intake, it is the way magnesium is being delivered. A pill may look convenient on the label. It may even sound impressive. But your body is not a chemistry set on a countertop. Your body is a living system.
And living systems often respond best when nutrients arrive packaged the way nature designed them. So in today's video, I want to walk you through a smarter, gentler, and far more practical approach. We are going to count down 5 foods that can help support healthy magnesium status naturally, while also helping your muscles, sleep, nerves, digestion, and energy. And please stay with me, because number 2 is one of the most overlooked foods in the kitchen, yet it may be one of the most helpful for an aging body. Before we begin, let me say this clearly. If you take magnesium supplements, you have not done anything wrong. You are trying to help yourself. That is a good thing. This video is not about fear. It is about giving you better options, better context, and better results. Magnesium matters more than most people realize. It helps regulate muscle contraction and relaxation. It supports nerve signaling. It plays a role in heart rhythm. It helps the body make energy from food. It supports sleep quality. It even participates in hundreds of enzyme reactions that keep your cells doing their jobs. So if you have felt more tired, more cramped, more stiff, or less steady lately, magnesium is one of the first minerals worth thinking about. And that brings us to number 5 on our list, wild salmon. Now most people think of salmon as a heart food, a protein food, or an omega-3 food. All of that is true. But for older adults, salmon also deserves attention as a food that supports magnesium use inside the body, especially when energy, muscle strength, and nighttime comfort begin to slip. One reason this matters so much is that aging cells do not produce energy as efficiently as they once did. Over time, the tiny power stations inside your cells, the mitochondria, become less efficient. When that happens, the symptoms often look familiar. You feel more drained after simple tasks. Your legs may feel heavier on the stairs. Your muscles may complain at night. Your thinking may feel slower on tired days. Magnesium helps those cellular power stations run. But magnesium does not work in isolation. It works better when it arrives with other supportive nutrients. That is one reason salmon stands out. It naturally brings magnesium together with protein, vitamin D, healthy fats, and compounds that support nerve and muscle function. In plain language, it is not just about the mineral itself. It is about the company that mineral keeps. For a viewer over 55, that is a very important idea. Whole foods do not simply deliver one nutrient. They deliver a team. And that team can make the body far more willing to absorb, transport, and use what it receives. If you want to use salmon in a practical way, keep it simple. Aim for a moderate portion a few times a week. baked, poached, or lightly pan-cooked tends to be easier on the body than deep frying. A squeeze of lemon, a little olive oil, and a side of vegetables is more than enough. You do not need a complicated plan. You need a repeatable one. I want to give you a simple, real-life picture. Imagine a woman in her early 70s who keeps waking up with calf cramps. She has tried drinking more water. She has tried stretching before bed. She has even tried a supplement, but her sleep is still broken. Then she begins adding salmon to dinner a few times a week, along with other magnesium-supportive foods, and little by little the nights begin to improve. She is not cured overnight, but she is finally giving her body something it knows how to use. That is the theme of this entire video. Not perfection, better support. And these foods help several common aging concerns at the same time, not separately. Now let's move to number 4. And this is where many people begin to realize they do not need an expensive solution at all. Number 4 is pumpkin seeds. These tiny seeds are one of the quiet nutritional powerhouses of the senior years. They are easy to keep in the kitchen, easy to add to meals, and far more useful than they appear at first glance. A small handful can provide a meaningful amount of magnesium, but once again, the true benefit is not only the number on paper, it is the form, the food matrix, and the way the body handles it. As we get older, the body can become less efficient at holding on to certain minerals. Digestion may change, appetite may change, medications may interfere, kidneys may not regulate balance in the same way they once did. So when someone says, "I take a supplement, but I still don't feel much different," I believe them. The issue is often not effort. The issue is how the nutrient is being processed. Pumpkin seeds help because they deliver magnesium inside a natural package that also contains healthy fats, plant compounds, protein, and trace minerals. That can slow digestion in a helpful way and create a steadier release. Instead of flooding the system all at once, food often gives the body a more usable stream. The easiest way to use pumpkin seeds is to make them visible. Put them in a small bowl on the counter. Add them to oatmeal, yogurt, soup, or salad. Sprinkle them over cooked vegetables. If chewing is a concern, you can chop them or use seed butter instead. The goal is not to make life harder. The goal is to make nutrition easier to repeat. And this is also a good place to pause and remember something important. Healthy aging is rarely about one miracle ingredient. It is usually about stacking small advantages day after day. Better sleep, better mineral intake, better muscle support, better blood sugar control, better digestion. Those small wins start to build on each other. So we have salmon for cellular energy and muscle support. We have pumpkin seeds for convenient food-based magnesium in a body-friendly package. And now we are ready for a food that surprises almost everyone the first time they hear it. Number 3 on our list is dark chocolate. Yes, really. And if you are smiling right now, you are not alone. Many people assume chocolate belongs in the guilt category, especially later in life when they are trying to eat more carefully. But high cacao dark chocolate can actually be a useful part of a magnesium-supportive eating pattern when it is chosen wisely and enjoyed in moderation. What makes dark chocolate interesting is that it does more than provide magnesium. It also contains plant compounds that can support circulation, mood, and relaxation. For many adults over 55, that combination matters because the goal is not only to hit a mineral target. The goal is to help the body feel calmer, sleep more deeply, and recover more gracefully. Now, I want to be careful here. This is not a license to eat candy bars all evening. We're talking about real dark chocolate, ideally with a high cacao percentage and modest added sugar. Think of it as a small evening ritual, not an all-day snack. A square or two after dinner may be enough. Here is why it can be helpful. Older muscles and nerves often become more sensitive to stress, poor sleep, inflammation, and blood sugar swings. When that happens, the body may feel tighter, less settled, and slower to relax at the end of the day. Dark chocolate in the right amount can be one of those gentle foods that feels both nourishing and satisfying. And when a healthy choice feels pleasant instead of punishing, people are far more likely to keep doing it. That is a point many nutrition plans miss. If a routine is miserable, it usually does not last. But if it is simple, realistic, and enjoyable, it has a chance. There is another reason dark chocolate works so well in a video for seniors. It gives relief from the feeling that healthy eating has to become joyless with age. Many people over 55 already feel that they are being told to give something up at every appointment, every article, and every advertisement. Less salt, less sugar, less pleasure, less comfort. But a plan that includes one enjoyable, well-chosen food feels humane. It says, you can care for your body without stripping all the warmth out of daily life. That emotional tone matters. When people feel respected instead of restricted, they listen longer, trust more deeply, and follow through more often. And for viewers who worry about sleep, this section can gently bridge pleasure with purpose. You are not telling them chocolate is magic. You are telling them that a thoughtful evening routine can be both comforting and supportive. That makes the advice feel realistic, safe, and worth trying. It also softens the tone of the video. Viewers feel guided, not deprived. And that emotional shift keeps them open to the rest ahead. A practical way to use dark chocolate is to pair a small portion with an evening wind down. Maybe that means 1 or 2 squares with a cup of warm milk or herbal tea. Maybe it means enjoying it slowly instead of eating it while distracted. You are not just feeding the body, you are also sending a message to the nervous system that the day is slowing down. And that brings us to a smoother transition into number 2, because the next food is much less glamorous, much more familiar, and in many ways even more powerful. Number 2 is spinach. Now, I know what some viewers may be thinking. Spinach? I have heard that all my life. But please stay with me, because spinach is not on this list as a boring health cliché. It is here because it is one of the most practical foods for older adults who want support for muscles, thinking, heart function, and overnight repair. One of the challenges of aging is that inflammation can slowly interfere with the way the body absorbs and uses nutrients. The body still wants help, but the internal environment is not always as cooperative as it once was. That is why whole foods matter so much. They often bring the nutrient together with plant compounds that work alongside it. Spinach does exactly that. It offers magnesium along with folate, vitamin K, potassium, and protective antioxidants. And for adults concerned about brain fog, balance, blood pressure, and muscle function, that combination is very appealing. There is also an emotional reason spinach works well in a script like this. It is familiar. It is affordable. It does not belong to a trend. Many viewers have eaten it for decades. So instead of presenting health as something exotic or expensive, spinach reminds the audience that sometimes the most useful answers have been in ordinary foods all along.
Preparation matters, though. Raw spinach is fine for some people, but lightly cooking it can make it easier to digest and easier for the body to use. A quick sauté in olive oil with garlic is simple, flavorful, and senior-friendly. It softens the leaves, reduces bitterness, and turns a should-eat food into a food people may actually want at dinner. Let me paint a familiar picture. Think of a man in his late 60s who begins noticing that his thinking feels slower in the afternoon. He worries about it. His tests come back mostly normal, but he knows he does not feel like himself. He starts improving the quality of his meals, not with anything extreme, but by adding cooked greens regularly, eating more real food, and giving his body steady mineral support. Over a matter of weeks, he feels more clear-headed, more stable, and less depleted by the end of the day. That kind of story is believable because it happens through accumulation, not magic. And that is the bigger message I want your audience to feel. The body still responds, maybe not instantly, maybe not perfectly, but often more than people expect. Now we arrive at the final food in the countdown, and in many ways it is the most important because it addresses something many supplements ignore completely: the gut environment. Number one is black beans. If you were expecting something rare, expensive, or trendy, black beans may sound almost too ordinary to deserve the top spot. But that is exactly why they are so powerful in a video like this. They challenge the assumption that health has to come in a bottle. Black beans bring magnesium, yes, but they also bring fiber and resistant starch that help feed beneficial gut bacteria. That matters because the gut is not just a passive tube where nutrients pass through. It is an active, living environment that influences what gets absorbed, what gets wasted, and how well the body uses what it receives. This becomes especially important after 60, when gut diversity often declines. Many adults notice they become more sensitive to foods, more prone to constipation, or more inconsistent in digestion. A supplement does not fix that environment, but a food like black beans can help improve it over time. In other words, black beans do something wonderfully practical. They do not just contain magnesium, they help prepare the body to make better use of it. That is why black beans deserve to finish this countdown in the number one position. They support the mineral itself, and they also support the internal conditions that help the mineral do its job. For older adults, that can be the difference between merely swallowing a nutrient and actually benefiting from it. And when we are talking about sleep, muscle preservation, heart rhythm, bowel regularity, and day-to-day energy, that difference matters. The simplest way to use black beans is to remove every barrier possible. Canned beans are absolutely acceptable. Rinse them well, warm them gently with olive oil, garlic, or cumin, add them to soup, serve them beside eggs, spoon them over cooked vegetables, or pair them with salmon and greens for a very strong evening meal. You do not need perfection, you need consistency. And consistency is where the real transformation happens. If someone watching this video is 58, 67, or 79, they do not need to hear that their best years are over. They need to hear that their body still responds to good care. They need to hear that a calmer nervous system, steadier muscles, deeper sleep, and better energy are still worth pursuing. They need to hear that food is not a punishment. Food is one of the most powerful daily tools they still control. So let's step back and look at the full picture. Number 5, salmon supports cellular energy and muscle comfort with a natural package of protein, healthy fats, and magnesium-supportive nutrients. Number 4, pumpkin seeds offer a convenient daily source of magnesium in a form that fits easily into real life. Number 3, dark chocolate adds a surprising but enjoyable source of magnesium that can support relaxation when used wisely. Number 2, spinach brings magnesium together with compounds that support the brain, circulation, and cellular repair. And number 1, black beans help nourish both magnesium status and the gut environment that makes magnesium more useful. That is a very different message from the one many people hear online. The common message is, buy this capsule, take this tablet, fix the problem quickly. But the wiser message, especially for adults over 55, is often this: build a body that can use what you give it. Because here is the truth: a supplement may still have a place for some people. There are situations where it is useful, sometimes necessary, and sometimes recommended by a physician. But when food quality is low, digestion is poor, and meals are inconsistent, a supplement may end up doing far less than people hoped. That is why this conversation matters. We are not only asking, how much magnesium are you taking? We are asking, what kind of environment are you creating inside your body each day? That question changes everything. And there is one more reason this message lands so powerfully with an older audience. It restores a sense of agency. Many adults in their 60s and 70s feel as though health decisions have become increasingly complicated, expensive, and dependent on products they do not fully understand. Every week there is a new powder, a new capsule, a new formula, a new promise. That can leave people feeling tired before they even begin. A food-first message cuts through that noise. It says, you do not need to master every trend. Start with your plate. Start with what is familiar. Start with what you can buy at a normal grocery store and prepare without stress. And I want to slow down for a moment and speak to you personally, as if we were sitting across the kitchen table from each other. The goal is not to eat perfectly for 3 days and then give up. The goal is to make 1 or 2 steady improvements that become automatic. Maybe salmon becomes Tuesday dinner. Maybe spinach becomes a regular side dish. Maybe pumpkin seeds replace a processed snack. Maybe black beans show up in soup twice a week. When habits become familiar, the body gets repeated support, and repeated support is what creates visible change. And let me remind you of something important. The body usually improves in layers. Sleep gets a little better first, then morning stiffness eases, then digestion becomes more regular, then energy becomes steadier. Those small changes are easy to dismiss one by one, but together they often signal that the body is finally getting consistent support. That is the kind of progress older viewers recognize from real life, and because these foods are familiar, they invite spouses, partners, and families into the process as well. That matters. Lasting health changes are easier when meals feel shared instead of separate. A pot of beans, a pan of salmon, or a bowl of sautéed greens can nourish more than one person at the table, which makes the habit easier to keep through busy weeks and evenings. That is why I do not want to promise you anything dramatic, only something empowering. Not everything changes tonight, but something meaningful can start tonight. For seniors, that is often the kind of hope that feels most believable, and therefore most motivating. It turns nutrition from a shopping habit into a care habit. It turns meals from routine calories into strategic support. And it gives older adults something deeply encouraging, a path that is practical, affordable, and still within reach today, even now for you. If you are over 55 and watching this today, I want to lean into that hope. I want to speak to your dignity. I want to speak to your wisdom. I know many of you are tired of hype, but still hungry for genuine help. You do not need to be scolded. You deserve to be guided. So let me say this as steadily and reassuringly as I can. Your body is still listening. Even now, it is still responding to what you feed it, how you care for it, and the choices you repeat every day. Better sleep may not begin with a stronger pill. It may begin with a better dinner. Calmer muscles may not come from chasing a miracle formula. They may come from salmon, greens, seeds, beans, and a few small habits done faithfully. That is the kind of message older viewers trust because it respects both science and lived experience. And before we close, let me make the action step easy. Choose just one food from the list this week, not all 5, just one. That lowers resistance and increases follow-through. So let me leave you with something warm and direct. If this video helped you see magnesium in a whole new way, let me know in the comments which of these foods you are going to start with first. And if you are over 55, tell me your age as well, because I want this channel to serve you with information that is practical, respectful, and truly helpful for this stage of life. Remember, healthy aging is not about doing everything at once. It is about giving your body what it needs, one smart choice at a time. Thank you for spending these minutes with me. Take good care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video.